Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. Objects, I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
But
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And this is Bill, and my friend Mike over there is, what'd you say? You're fighting something, eh? Yeah, well, it's, again, is what it is. This time of year, maybe, or I don't know.
Yeah, whatever, man. The grandkid she said half the school's down with something. She's been sick all week. So, yeah, my turn.
Yeah, well, I've been lucky so far. I'm trying to think, a good friend of mine got COVID recently, and I know, I mean, it's just weird. I mean, it's not that it's never going to go away. I
Right.
mean, it's always there. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, she got a big bout of it, but I don't know. This time of year, usually it'll happen, but
Right.
I end up with some sort of mild cold, and thankfully, I'm not even going to knock on wood. I'm just, you know what? I'm that good that I just don't get it that often. So
yeah, or or you're so bad that the diseases don't want to enter you.
Yeah, here's
we
what
ain't going in there.
Well, and here's what's funny. So I really don't. I mean, when I was drinking, and why don't we sway into an alcohol conversation for a second
right.
here? But when I was drinking, I mean, obviously, when I was sick, I don't know that I knew I was sick because I always felt off, or that was just like my normal
felt like
thing.
crap anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, and when Dawn and I were together, sometimes I would just, I don't know, either I wanted to, wherever my head was at, either I wanted to, be by myself or do whatever, or I just probably depressed or whatever the case was, whatever shit was going on in my head. I think I had these like made up sicknesses or something like that. I you know what I mean? I just don't.
Right.
But I mean, since I've been sober, the Keating Center shit, everyone gets that. What do they call it? The Keating
crud.
Yeah. Well, and again, when you're living literally with at that time it was 50 fucking guys, and you're stacked up like cordwood in these dorms, and in group rooms and shut in and all that stuff.
Right.
It's impossible not to.
We don't come in all that healthy to begin with, so
Yeah, and that's a good point. Yeah, probably immune system's down and everything like that. So unhealthy.
I mean, the last year I was out there, it was vodka and grapefruit juice, so I was loaded with vitamin C.
Right.
My delusional ass. Oh yeah, I'm being healthy, man. I'm drinking pure alcohol and fucking lots of fruit juice.
Yeah, well, I think they balance each other out, right? That's what we try to tell each other. But yeah, I mean, I know for a fucking fact. I mean, I've said it before. I mean, I came home from lunch. I might eat half a sandwich, but I drink 3-4 beers or something like that. And that was the last, I don't know, 6-7 months before I got sober, at a minimum. And I'd eat dinner, but I wasn't eating that well, so. I think that once again, I was 160 pounds or something like that when I went into detox. I was just, I mean, I'm thin enough, not as much as I used to be, but, still probably 25 pounds lighter than I am now. So, and just, not healthy even one little bit. So, But anyhow, so what I told Mike was, I'm like, good news is I talk a lot, so he should be able to just be there and just do what he just did. I still got
There's going to be a lot of that tonight.
I still got to ask you questions though. So,
Yeah, all
but
right. I'll probably answer them.
but I've got a couple of things. Actually, this is becoming a common occurrence. I got two news stories this week. They have, just so everyone knows, they have nothing to do with politics. One is
Mm-hmm.
alcohol related. One is
Mm.
holiday related. So
All right.
timely and towards our podcast. So
Okay.
being alcohol related, but obviously we get to those. I did my normal shit. But yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I've been obviously up in Two Rivers this entire week, and it's
Ah, yeah.
nice. This place is. I'll tell you about it a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
let me just say it's fucking nice. It's just nice, but I'll get
Right.
into that more. So,
All right.
but so did you happen to in your weekend state? Did you scrape together a reading, or are
My
you okay?
delirium. Yeah, I got one.
Just point a finger at something and start mumbling, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, this was actually earlier in the week. Yeah, a few days ago. And I thought it was pretty good. It was from Keep It Simple. And so here we go. Oh yeah. November 19th. What we don't live, we cannot teach others, from Day by Day. So this is meditation book on meditation book crime. All right, here we go. Remember, we don't carry the message to others until we get to step 12. We must first learn to live in a sober way. Sobriety takes time. We have to stop using alcohol and other drugs, but that is only the start. Just as it takes time to build a house, it takes time to build a new way of life. We talk with friends and sponsors about the steps. We try using them in our lives. Then we talk about how the steps work for us. We talk about where we get stuck with the steps. All of this takes time. We aren't in a hurry. We have a lifetime ahead of us. Remember, the better we live our program, the better we help others. Prayer for the day. Higher power, you'll let me know when I'm to carry the message. Until then, be with me as I build a new way of life, a sober way of life, a spiritual way of life. Action for the day. I'll take time to think over where I'm at with my program. I'll talk about it with a friend.
Well, you know what? You're in goddamn luck, man. You got a
Hey,
friend here tonight. Hey, friend.
right. Hi. Guess we could do
So,
that part of the action.
one way or the other, maybe we're not going to talk about our program, but we end up talking about our program
Mm-hmm.
anyhow. So so that question was, where am I at with my program? I was just writing that down
Uh-huh.
as you ended it, but so I wouldn't even know. Somebody asked me that. So, Bill,
Hey,
nice to meet you. Happy Friday. So,
right.
two fingers pointed at me. So, where are you at with your program? Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I would say. So I'm going to
uh,
revert to you first.
right. I'm right here. That's where I'm at in my program. I'm right here in the fucking middle of it. Yeah, right, middle of the bed, all that happy crap. I don't know, where am I at my program? I'm where I'm at in my program. Um, you know, I have the obsession has been lifted. I have no desire to drink or use. I think about it. We talk about that plenty, but it's a passing fancy, and I know better today. I have peace and I have serenity and I'm comfortable, and so apparently I'm right in the middle of my fucking program.
And that's I seriously. I mean that question would kind of catch me off guard, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a. I mean, I guess that's the greatest answer. I'm here. I am what I am.
Yeah, right.
I've
I'm
got some time
Popeye.
on. That's all that I am. But I mean, I've got some time under my belt, and I don't just have time under my belt.
Mm-hmm.
I can. I suppose if somebody, like people say, if you want to get an idea of a person, take a look at their friends, take a look at
Mm-hmm.
their surroundings.
Right.
Neither of us, whatever the word "quote unquote" perfect is, has nobody has a perfect life. I don't care what
No.
the fuck they say.
Right.
Um, But if you take a look around to, again, the friends and the family and the relationships I
Uh-huh.
have, and those sort of things. I mean, hey, I mean, that's a good judge of where my program's at.
Mm-hmm.
Am I flying off the handle at people? Am I trying to
Right.
do something nice for somebody? Am I trying to make my little corner of the world a better place?
Yep.
And you know what is kind of funny? Just kind of thought about, because last weekend or Sunday, got together with at my ex-wife's house, and
Mm.
that was really nice. I mean, it
Yeah.
just did.
Saw the pictures.
Yeah, and it was great. The Packer game was on. We had some
Mm-hmm.
food, and Dawn made up. She took a whole turkey and cut it all up and put it in the slow cooker and made green bean casserole and stuffing and potatoes.
Mm.
And I brought soda and dinner
Right.
rolls, which I
Yeah.
told her, because the price was still. I got it at Meyer, and they were like $2.99. And when I gave them to her, I said, when you look at the price, I said they're cheap, but I said feel them because they're in the bag. She's like they're really soft, and I'm like,
Here,
I
feel
know.
these.
Yeah, yeah,
Sure,
here.
that's not the first time you've said that to her.
Yeah, probably not, but yeah, it's the only time I was. Yeah, well, maybe I have said it to my buns before. My buns are nice and soft. Feel them.
Yeah. Give him a squeeze, baby.
but the funny part, that's the first thing. She's like, they are so soft, and I said, I know. I said,
Yeah.
clearly they're fresh. I mean, they're $3, but whatever.
Right.
Um, but I mean, the fact that I get, and I said that before, that when I posted the pictures, that
Mm-hmm.
not just being with family, the fact that when you really look deep into that, the relationship that I've been able to, and it's, I mean, with her, huge part of her help and grace, I've been able to rebuild a relationship with her and have a
Right.
relationship with everyone. And it's just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I suppose worst case scenario, if anyone really wanted to, I'm like, talk to my ex-wives, and people probably look at me like, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here are
Yeah.
their phone numbers.
Yeah.
Fucking call them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I'm at in my program, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Talk to
you.
my ex-wives.
Yeah, we can, all three of us can sit in a room, and you can sit with us, and you can ask them any fucking thing you want. They know all the bad, they know all the good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll sit there, and I will not have a beat of sweat running down my face, or you
Right.
know what are you going to say?
Yeah.
But
That's a pretty
yeah.
goddamn good test right there.
Can't talk to my ex-wives. Wait, what? But no, I mean, I had a wonderful time. But I mean, that's like you just said, that's where I'm at with my program.
Yep.
Um, I don't know, like you said, I think you said too. We've always said, hey, I can do more, I could do this. But
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing that we always go back to, and this is the but, if we're asked, we're going to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever,
Absolutely.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, to most extents. I mean, we're not just
Mm-hmm.
going to do anything, but yeah, $20 is $20, though.
That's right.
That's the one thing I should try to search back in our transcript, see how many times that came up. $20.
Uh-huh.
That's that's been said a couple of times, but all right. So the obvious thing I wrote down in the beginning, and it was a couple of times throughout, but carrying the message. I'll get back to
Mm-hmm.
that in a second. Learning to live a sober way, because he was talking about we can't carry the message, I think, or carry it to
Right.
other people until we learn to live
Yeah.
in a sober way.
Right.
Which
I mean, yeah, it's the last fucking step is when we share the
right,
message, right? A little bit of work goes on before that. I mean, for me, the main God, sorry, gist of the message was, this shit takes time. It doesn't, we've spent our lives looking for that instant gratification, and that is not what this is. You want a new, different way of living. Um, guess what? It's gonna fucking take time.
right. And you know what? I wrote that down too. Those two words, takes time. And that
Mm-hmm.
that goes back to whatever it was, 6 7 years sober, sitting in that fucking group room at the Keating Center, and you had me tell you're like, yeah, this guy told you about, tell him about your daughter. I tell the story, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, how long did it take? And I'm like, too fucking long. And you're like, no. And I'm like, fuck me, I know, but
Yeah,
yeah.
took as long as it took.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Time takes time, and patience is a virtue, or maybe it's
Mm.
not, and
Mm.
whatever. Patience is patience, and time is time. But
Right.
the other thing that it talked about in there, which obviously we use the word foundation a lot, but it did. It talked
Mm-hmm.
about building a new way of life, and it talked about it being like a house.
Right.
And even
Yeah.
if you have a house that doesn't, there's plenty of houses out there without basements, but you still
Mm-hmm.
need a foundation. You can't
Right.
just. I mean, I suppose you could. You
Mm.
just throw that structure on top of the ground and see what happens. But
Yeah, well,
um,
it's gonna sink and it's gonna bend and it's gonna fucking fall apart. Right? You can't build it on sand. You have to. Right? Ooh, I'm gonna go biblical here. You got to build it on rock.
right. Yeah, and it's I've always liked that, and that's a once again, I mean it's a visual analogy, for me.
Right.
Building something like that, and the whole the whole idea and concept of a foundation. It is. I mean, you can't have the rest of the house, and certainly not a solid home, unless
Mm-hmm.
you build a foundation, and then again,
Yeah.
imagine that one piece and one step at a time.
Yeah, and it's got to be on something solid. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how well you build it up top. It's not gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna stand.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, again, we talk about it all the time, but fortunate. I was going to say lucky, but I think just fortunate is the
Yeah.
better way to put it. That the people that we had to guide us and
Mm-hmm.
teach us and all those sort of things. And I mean, shit. It's that there's nothing that says that either one of us couldn't have gotten sober someplace else or in some sort of way. But
Mm.
I mean, I'm glad I didn't have to try, because
Right.
this in itself, once again, it was work, and it took time, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously worth it. But yeah, I mean, when I went back to Wisconsin, or when 14 and a half years later, you and I are off doing our own things and
Mm-hmm.
different places and different people and circumstances. And the reason that obviously doing the work all the time, but without that foundation, I mean, we're
Right.
fucked.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yes, I know this is your first rodeo, but yeah, it wasn't mine. I did try some different ways, and there was no fucking solid foundation to it, and it didn't work
Right.
several times.
Right. Well, and I've talked about my dad. My dad was, I mean, when he died, he had 29 years sober in this program. He was a member of
Mm-hmm.
Alcoholics Anonymous, and had I think probably I know now, and I figured it out kind of a few 2-3 years maybe into my sobriety, that he
Mm-hmm.
probably wasn't living, as they say, his best life. I
Right.
think he could have done more to be happier, not as angry at times, and
Mm-hmm.
that sort of things, but or those sort of things. But he, like Stella Maris, he said he used that as a revolving door, as a spin dry.
Right.
And the last time he went in there, that's when Jack threw him up against the wall and said that he's going to die, and he's going to leave his kids and all those sort of things. And
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, I mean, he went back that night and went back the next night, and Jack put him to work and all this sort of things. So
Mm-hmm.
finally, after years
Yeah.
of in and out and in and out,
Yeah.
he started building that foundation, and
Right.
you know graduated, as we say, with 29 years at this thing. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but
Right.
yeah.
Started doing the work finally.
Right.
Yeah, because fucking Mohall with his giant fucking hands threw him against the wall.
Yeah, and I run across it every once in a while, and I think I have it. I'm pretty sure I have it in. I think I saved it in an email, or some sort of document. And I know I have it. I'll have to look it up again and pull it out at some point, because shit. When's the Jack Mulhall thing? It's in November that he passed away. That
Right.
whole thing's got to be coming up, and that's when my dad wrote it. Well, that's what I
Mm-hmm.
did. I looked it up because Mulhall's what do you call it, obituary is still up, and
Mm.
that's where I pulled it up the one time, and I think I saved it. But I don't know. I think his or what, probably, gosh, shit, might even passed already. Shit, we're almost at the fucking end of November.
Right. Yeah.
But
I don't know the date off the top of my head, but yeah, right. It was November. Yeah.
yeah. But either way, I mean, the whole point is, yeah, it's just we've seen people who have done the work, and then obviously a ton of people that have, and that we saw the results, and thankfully learned
Mm-hmm.
what, if nothing else, I mean, from not only from what people did, but no bad examples. We learn from people's mistakes also, right?
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. I mean, we saw a lot of people that didn't do the work.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, the typical story. Again, it's I always hate to. I don't hate to say it. I guess I do. Maybe the no bad examples part. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when people die, and when people fall, and when people fail, at
Right.
this thing, it's you got to pay attention to that just as much as you pay attention to the other ones. Not
Absolutely.
necessarily looking for, I don't know, I don't want to do that exact thing. We know what not to do. Don't
Mm-hmm.
stop.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's they're cautionary tales, or
Yeah.
tales of true tragedy, as they say. So
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean that was a good one. I actually remember reading that one too. So that was just you said what a couple of days ago, right? The
Yeah, the
19th.
19th. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, keep it simple. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
one of the ones I read, and I usually it's whatever I posted today. I had posted a year ago because it came up on our our Facebook memories too. So
Mm.
yeah, once again, one of those things that the same things tend to stick with me year over year. It seems. But so anything else for the reading? Anything else you took from that, or?
Nah, I don't know. My head hurts.
Yeah, yeah, it's been killing me for 14 and a half years.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah. Try it from this side of the skull.
Right. But speaking of people who have done the work, because I made a note here,
Hmm.
everyone, if you've listened for a minute, knows who our friend Gary is.
Oh yeah,
He's been on here a couple of times as a guest, and um, actually emailed Mike and I the other day, and
he
it
did.
was speaking of that, then it was the 19th, wasn't it? That is his anniversary, I believe, if I remember from the email. But either way, he just celebrated 7 years of
Hmm.
sobriety. So, congratulations to our friend Gary. And you know what's
Yep.
funny is I literally it was over the last couple of weeks, and I meant to shoot him an email or text him and see how he was doing because he's been quiet. Usually he'll
Hmm.
check in every I don't know every month, couple of months or something like that with whatever. But I'm guessing he's busy or
Sure.
I don't know, whatever, Gary. Maybe you just don't fucking care unless you got something that you want us to pat you on the back for. I don't fucking know.
Right.
This will get him going now if he has to
Right.
listen to this. Poke Gary, poke, poke. But no, seriously, congratulations. And he said some nice things in general, just about his sobriety, and obviously, I don't
Hmm.
know, said for us, keep doing what we're doing. It's nice to have people around, blah blah blah. But
Right.
I don't know, it goes both ways. It always does. It's on this side of the table. Thanks.
Right. Hmm.
Thanks for filling up a couple hours or 3 hours of time on our podcast.
Yes, we do appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. Tonight would have been a good night for it to, obviously let you have sleep over there.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, so speaking of congratulations, we have a special guest tonight. We have an author on the show.
You know what? And the thing of it is, and I don't like talking about myself, so
No, if I know,
I'm
it's the
just kidding.
last
But
thing you want to do.
the thing of it is, I was going to mention it, but not really make a huge deal out of it because I mean, it'd still be
Hmm.
plenty of. I'll be able to flood things over time anyhow. But three things I want to say. First of all, thank you for bringing it up. Actually, I think I got four or
It's
five things
kind
I
of
got to
cool.
say. But the thing of it is, so
Is that
well
all?
in well, first of all, two things have to do with you. Thank you, my friend Mike, for bringing
Mm-hmm.
it up. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it is. The background of it is that after I was doing this and when I first started doing it, I found one article that was helpful on how to do this thing. This whole
What is this
Air,
thing?
Airbnb stuff. Traveling,
Oh.
traveling and living through Airbnbs.
Hmm.
And the whole idea that you can do it full time. And
Right.
I don't have the um if there's whatever the step of my income is, I'm about one step, two steps away from being able to do it full time.
Right.
I don't make enough money yet to be able to do it full time. And
Hmm.
just so everyone's clear, and I just posted something today. It's like anytime I post something, it looks like I have a lot of money. I don't. I'm just irresponsible, which I thought
Right.
was kind of fucking funny. But I don't have a permanent residence right now. I don't have a house.
Hmm.
I don't have an apartment. I've got a sister that allows me to live with her when I'm not traveling. I have a
Hmm.
friend like Mike that invites me out every once in a while, so I get to stay
Hmm.
there. All it costs me is Chinese food or dinner
Right.
at the casino or something like that, which is fine. I appreciate it, but
Hmm.
um, so I can't really afford to do it full time. My goal is to do it, but that doesn't matter. But what I found is that there wasn't a lot of resources to really know how to do it, even get using Airbnb.
Right.
It's trial and error, and I didn't know what to look for, and now it's just fucking easy. I'll go down there, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to write it down. And when I started was when I had that tooth issue back in August. It was before I went to North Carolina, so beginning of
Hmm.
August. The day I was off of work, when I was waiting to get the call back from the doctor's office to get my prescription in and this and that. Um, I just sat down and I had a note for a couple of months to do it, but I sat down and wrote it, or started writing, and I think I wrote 15 pages that first day.
Hmm.
and it's just it's like what you and I do for sobriety. I do it all the time.
Sure.
So I just took my thoughts and put it down on paper, and then I think I finished it probably 2 months ago. But then
Mm-hmm.
anytime I write something of that level,
Mm-hmm.
or bigger things like that, even an article, I'll let sit a couple of days.
Right.
I'd let it sit, then I'd read it, then I put it through Grammarly to check all the punctuation and grammar and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I reread it probably 5 times to make sure it flowed, and I would catch spelling errors. There could still be fucking spelling errors in there for all I know. There's only so much you can catch.
Right.
And then I just started working on when I was out in Cleveland. I think is when I worked on the cover. But the other thing I want to say to you is
Mm-hmm.
the title is because of you,
Yeah.
the hobo.
Yeah.
you know, and the when I
I
first
caught
started
that.
when I first started thinking about it, because I always when I talk about this fact that because you called me, a bum and a hobo, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I'm homeless, and I said I'm homeless intentionally. So
Right.
I was going to title it something like that, like
Mm-hmm.
intentionally homeless or homeless on purpose.
Right.
And then how fucking people are. I'm like, yeah, you
Right.
know what? I
Exactly.
I don't need to. I don't think. Who knows? I don't want to offend
Mm-hmm.
people. So then
Sure.
I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm like, Mike calls me a hobo, so I start searching
Yeah.
titles.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of why I use that word too, because it's a very nice way of saying that, bum. But
Right.
right, but it's an intentional thing, and I mean, right, words mean things, and I tend to choose my words, um, so that's why I called you a hobo.
Right. Yeah, and it was funny because I was looking at all these different things, and since I actually put it together and stuff. There are some books out there that delve into this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
from 3 years, 4 years ago. But it is what it is, and I'm already thinking about and kind of start putting together ideas for. I'm going to do another one that does. I'm going to kind of hone in either I don't know if on every place, but like the favorite places I've been,
Mm-hmm.
and then actually do pictures and put the Airbnbs I stayed in, the places that I really liked,
Right.
because the same thing, you could read reviews and whatever, and I focus on those things, but then it's like, what the fuck else is in the area? And granted, I mean, I go to areas for a specific reason to
Sure.
hiking and that sort of thing, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever. If somebody wants to go to an area and see some beautiful shit, you don't have to walk in the woods, you could just go look at shit.
Right.
And that's kind of what I've been doing, so.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to, for the life of me, I didn't want to do it through the other books I published through Amazon. I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
fuck around with Amazon because if you do it through Amazon, they want rights to everything and just have it stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I found a different website, a publisher distribution thing. It's all self-published. I did all the work
Sure.
on it. They just put it out to all these different places, Amazon being one. But still, Amazon is one of the main ones, and Amazon does the nicest job so far visually as far as
Mm-hmm.
how it looks. So I'm still fucking running people through Amazon, but for now, because it just looks better than Google Books right now, which
Right.
is where technically it's kind of published through like an
Mm-hmm.
offshoot of. But I don't know. It's 40 some pages. It's not a hard read. I don't know if it'll get any traction or anything like that, but it was fun. It was fun to write, and it
Right.
was hopefully it'll be helpful to people. And just like everything else, man, I couldn't figure out how to fucking do it. Now that you know I'm passing along. Wait.
What?
Carrying the message. I was looking back
Ah.
at my bring it all around.
That's right.
But so on the positive side, what this could do for us, because what I did was I put a landing page for the book on our sponsor page.
Okay.
And the link, if you click through the link to my post, it goes directly to our sponsor page.
Mm-hmm.
And people can still scroll down. Obviously, if there's more, I didn't take away everyone else that's on the sponsor page, but
Mm-hmm.
I put that first and then
Sure.
Heating Center second.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole point is that people click on that, they're still on our website. And if they click
Mm-hmm.
through the Amazon, it goes to a different page, but our website's still up. My point there was, I'm like, okay, I don't want to build another website. We're already paying for this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I can do it. I don't need anything real fancy, but I
Mm-hmm.
want, I'm hoping that it'll drive some traffic to our website too,
Right. Yeah. And
So,
so, all right. So, lay it out there, man. Whore yourself all the way. Spread those legs wide open. Links. Where can they find it? Give the full title again.
all right. So it is Modern Day Hobo, a guide to living the Airbnb life.
Mm-hmm.
Easiest place to go. It is on Amazon. It is on Apple Books now. It just went live on Apple Books. It's on Google Play also. But the easiest thing, literally go to SoberNotMature.com, our website, click
Mm-hmm.
on the sponsor page. It'll be right there. You're going to see a brief write up about what the book's about, just the beginning, like the preface of the book. Click in, it goes right to Amazon. Okay. I have it priced right now, just right off the bat. I wanted to price it at $1.99, but Amazon wouldn't let me. It's too low, apparently,
Uh-huh.
because then apparently guess they don't make any money.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do it at $2.99 for an introductory price. It'll be more than that ultimately. I had a price higher than that, but so it's $3, and it's an ebook. Kathy, just literally when we started, it's a paperback. I didn't want it to be a paperback. We were going a
Mm.
paper bag. um, but I didn't design it to be a paperback, so I don't know how the layout's going to be. It's going to look off, because it's meant
Mm-hmm.
to be an ebook and not that. But anyhow, it's a Kindle, it's an ebook, it's all those sort of things, because I figured that anyone who might want to do this sort of thing is probably going to be more mobile and on a
Uh-huh.
digital type of book than a paperback. But who knows? Kathy's one
Right.
that likes paperbacks, so
Mm-hmm.
both of them are available for now. I don't know if I'll keep the paperback up there because it's just more of a pain in the ass, but anyhow, so yeah, it's if nothing else, visit our website, SoberNotMature.com. Go to our sponsor page. You'll see sponsors. Click on that. It'll be right there in your face. And yeah, check it out. Anyone who wants to take a look at it, and I'd appreciate any feedback.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone else out there hates it, just don't give me a fucking bad rating. Just fucking message me.
Right.
Email us and tell me you hate it. Because it's
Right.
if it's not your thing, don't waste the $3. So.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. And if you're looking to go out there and do some Airbnb and stuff, it's probably going to be no, I won't say probably, it is going to be a very good resource for you.
Yeah, and it is. I've go into everything about how to set things up and book things, and I've had really really good luck with Airbnb. I've had some weird ones. It's
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with Airbnb as a resource. They've helped me out when I got fucked, and that story's in there. About the one that went bad. But
Mm-hmm.
like this place that I'm in right now, it's an older home. My understanding is this was the host. I don't know. She's probably in her late 20s, early 30s, something like that, and her mom and it says right in there she took it over when her mom passed away, and this was her
Mm-hmm.
mom's house, I think.
Uh-huh.
um Small house upstairs, kind of one of those ones where you walk up and you gotta kind of duck when you go up, but once you get up there, a real nice bedroom upstairs, main
Right.
bedroom down here, another off bedroom that goes towards the back. There is a garage, obviously I haven't been in there. That must be theirs. Nice kitchen. It's just cozy. It's cozy
Mm.
and it's comfortable. It's got nice furniture. It's got real fucking toilet paper.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, no one ply. Last two places I was at, man, the fucking one ply toilet paper. I'm like,
Right.
Jesus Christ, man. She's just done a nice job. It's basic, but it's nice. She's got little books laying around. It's comfortable.
Cool.
So a place like this is a place that I would literally feature in the book. And she's been wonderful. She upgraded the internet for me,
Mm.
because it was really slow internet. And I told her, I'm like, I need at least 100 megabits, and she tested it. And she didn't even know.
Right.
She's like, it's 12. I'm like, are you? I literally messaged back. I'm like, are you sure you're looking at the download, not the upload? She's
Uh-huh.
like, no, I looked at that again. She's like, that's either way, I would change it. But she said, thank you
Right.
for asking me to look. And she's like, I had no clue. Nobody said anything.
Sure.
So she got brand new internet, and it's 3, 4, 500 megs. It's Frontier internet here. It's fucking perfect. But
Nice.
so she upgraded it, same as a guy did up north. Which I'm not saying I've never asked anyone to do it. I just say I
Mm-hmm.
can't. That two people have said they would upgrade their internet. So it's going to be
Right.
good for her going forward. But anyhow,
Sure.
but yeah, the book is there. Let me know what you think. And it was one way or the other. It's kind of like this podcast. I hope it helps somebody, but
Mm-hmm.
I did do it for other people, but I enjoyed the fuck out of doing it. All it did is cost me time. It cost me nothing else but
Mm-hmm.
time, and it's time doing something that I enjoy doing.
Right.
So yeah.
Cool.
So
Nice.
again, thank you, my friend. Thank you for the title. You will get your royalty check. You get. I'll give you. Well, you're already in for, what did you say? 10% of the profits of the podcast and everything
Sure.
else. And I think, have you gotten your royalty check yet for no?
No. I'm
Oh,
still
that's right.
waiting.
We have to make a profit
Ah,
before
it's a profit deal. That takes the pressure off.
Yeah, 10% of the profits. But we're worst case scenario, all three of us, me, you, and Kathy, we benefit a little bit from the losses that we were able to put on paper last year in our taxes,
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know how that. I never asked you how it panned out for you, but I'm hoping it.
Yeah, it was something. I don't know. I gave it to them and they did something with it. So there you go.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. You're at a with these small business type of things, and that's all that this is. But
Uh-huh.
all of this shit, is just small business shit. You're at this point where it's like, okay, how much does it cost me extra to do my tax return, and then
Uh,
how much do I get back? And when the cost of how what it is to do your tax return is more than what you get back, that's when it's a problem.
exactly.
But I don't think we're at that point. So.
Not yet. No.
All right, but no, seriously, thank you for bringing
Yeah,
it up, and it's take a look. I'll still be posting shit on. Nothing's going to change. The book is there. The book is what it is.
it is. Right.
But yeah, anyhow, it was fun.
That's cool,
So
man. It's an accomplishment. We're proud of you,
yeah,
kid.
well, thank you. I appreciate it. I really, really do. Thank you. All right, so oh god, the one thing I wanted to bring up too. So Richie,
Oh
our buddy
yeah.
Richie,
Yeah.
yeah. So and I haven't been on Facebook since this morning, so hopefully no weird updates or anything
Right.
like that as far as I know. But so yeah, buddy of ours that we went through the Keating Center with. His name is
Mm-hmm.
Richie. He got sober the summer that we did.
Yep.
And he's 10 years younger than us, right?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Once again, man, one of those fucking hardcore dudes, one of these
Mm-hmm.
hardcore dudes that we knew and ended up getting clean and sober where
Yep.
at the time, and has been sober ever since. So he's got the
Yep.
same amount of time as us, with the matter of a couple of months or a few months, whatever it is.
Right.
Got married. His girl's been sober. They got a kid together. He's got is he, what 16 years old now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trent is, I think, and so back and forth, blah blah blah. So about a week ago, well, actually, almost 2 weeks ago now,
Mm,
his wife Kelly posted something that he had this this incident while he was out hunting. Huge
right.
hunter,
Yeah.
fishing,
Mm-hmm.
outdoorsman, all that sort of
Yes,
shit.
he is.
That's his fucking deal. Some sort of issue, and then ended up at the hospital. And all said
Mm-hmm.
and done, wasn't it a torn aorta?
Yeah.
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 Okay. So, yeah, fucking tear in his fucking aorta.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still in the hospital, and it's
Yeah.
been 10 days, 2 weeks,
Yep.
now. Um, Doing okay. They did a couple of procedures and this and that, stints in there and whatever. Um, I still don't know. I mean, she didn't really go into, was this hereditary? What happened? Did he
Mm-hmm.
fall? I didn't catch anything like that, but
Right.
young fucking dude, so mid 40s,
Yeah.
roughly, maybe late 40s at the
Mm-hmm.
most.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it again. These normal shit happens to everyone, or these things
Mm-hmm.
happen to normal people, I guess, is a better
Right.
way to put it. But
Right.
I for once, I don't think. Who knows? Maybe this is something that's caused by the evilness of our ways in the past. I mean, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. But so, he's doing okay. And right. We're thinking about you, Richie.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, get better, get well. And man, I haven't seen. Do you remember even the last time you saw
Oof,
him? Or
it's been years and years. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think. Unless I'm wrong, I don't think I've seen him since I left Ohio. So
Right.
11 years ago.
Yeah. Right. And
But
it's probably, I probably saw him at some function somewhere. But yeah, again, probably 8, 9 years. Yeah. So I've seen him in person.
well, yeah, maybe at Founders Day we saw him. I know his wife goes.
Right.
I know Kelly goes, but
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's been a while. But I
It's
remember
been a
one
while.
when I do remember, because I was when I was secretary in the Thursday night meeting at the Keating Center.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever I had chairing that time asked him to lead. And I didn't know he was leading that night,
Ah.
and he comes walking. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Gave him a big old hug. I hadn't seen him at that point in probably a year, because they moved
Right.
out to God knows fucking
Right.
where they were living. They bought a house out there now and stuff. But I was fucking around with him because he gained a little weight, got himself a gut. I'm like, oh, you haven't missed
Mm-hmm.
a fucking meal in a while. He's like, yeah, I know. He's just fucking tapping his gut, stuff like that. But fucking great guy. I
Yeah.
mean, I just it sounds like, again, it sounds like he's stable, and yeah, just again, one of those guys out there doing all the right things. And
Mm-hmm.
again, this shit happens to everyone, not everyone, but it happens to normal people too. But
Yeah.
yeah, just one of our really really good friends is, kind of set aside for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
trying to catch his breath in a fucking hospital bed. So yeah, but once again, we wish him well, right?
We do.
All right. Well, you know what? Why don't we just? What do you think? Let's just take a break now. I was gonna say pop into something else, but I get whatever. It's about that time. You think?
Yeah, sure. I'm autopiloting it, man. All
I
right.
know.
All right. We'll be back with more Sober Not Mature right after these words from our sponsors.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi
And
there.
yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So we wanted two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.sobernotmature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.sobernotmatureshop.com.
Ah.
But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And once again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.sobernotmatureshop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. God damn, I got something in my throat. I was about to go. You're passing along to me, you motherfucker.
Yeah,
all these miles away. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of we were about 4 minutes early on our break, or 6 minutes, or 10 minutes. But
Ooh.
I'm like, it's funny. Usually with we just get rambling about shit, and it's about the same time every week. But I don't know. Everything seems to flow one way or the other. So one real quick thing about this place, and it was, again, kind of an older house or whatever, but the windows are newer, and the only reason it brings this up is because something happened. So I come out in the morning, and I've got my desk set up in the living room, kind of next to the TV and stuff, and there's the front windows, and I took pictures, but I don't know if you saw, but it's like a bay window, but cut in 3 different window panes with wood in between, like an old style thing, and there's blinds that are on there, and kind of like the full blind, not like regular open blinds, but like full, almost like cloth ones. So I come out one morning, and I made my coffee, whatever. Obviously, that's in the kitchen. I get my coffee, I come walking out here, and there's 2 lights on the wall that are. It's actually kind of nice watching TV. It's, again, this cozy comfort type of thing. Just kind of a nice ambiance, I guess, if you want to say it. But I turned on one of the lights, and as I'm walking in a living room, it's like halfway through, and it was like raining lightly that morning, and kind of warmer, like in 50s or something like that, low 50s. And I smelled spring, like outside weather.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, what? And again, I'm I've been up for like 15, 20 minutes and not quite, register. I'm like, what the fuck? So I turn the light on and I look, and the blind is like sticking out, and I look and the window is open. Okay.
Mm.
So they're the type of windows that you can, there's two slats on, or little locks on either side to pull them out and clean them, right? So
Okay.
they pull forward,
Right.
kind of on a hinge. So they're new-ish windows like that. And first thing, I mean, I just got one light and I'm like, fuck, it's still dark out. It's like, quarter after 5 in the morning.
Hmm.
And I'm like, right away, I put the flashlight on my phone and I'm like, shit, like, did somebody try to break in?
Right.
Um, but the screen's on, you know? So I'm like, okay, so the screen's fine. And then I looked and I saw the slats and blah, blah, blah. So what happened is the windows don't completely, and I'm sure that the window panes are probably swelled a little bit. So the two windows don't meet up to latch, where the window latch is.
Right.
And then the slats, I'm sure whoever cleaned the window slats didn't put the slats on, so it was windy and it blew the window in.
Aha.
So I just made sure the slats are in and closed it up, whatever. But it freaked me out
Well, yeah.
because I'm like, literally, I'm like, fucking A, man, did somebody try to break in? But again, not a huge deal as it turns out. But yeah, I mean, once again, I smelled I smelled springtime, and I couldn't for
Mm.
the life of me fucking figure it out. But this neighborhood, I mean, again, very quiet, nice, probably the quietest neighborhood I've been in a long time.
Hmm.
But anyhow, yeah, that was kind of a weird thing to wake up to. But all right. So one question, I don't remember if I want to. It doesn't matter. Do you ever think at any point while you were drinking that you drank differently from others? Okay.
That-
There's a second question in here, but did you consciously feel that you were drinking differently than others?
I preferred to think of it as better than others.
Okay, so hang on. So, well, no. I'll get to the second question in a minute. So maybe I
All
should have. So let me substitute or place the word problematically in here.
Hmm.
Did you ever think it was? I like the fact that you said better. That's a great way. I mean, it's like, okay, let's just end
That's
the episode on that. We're 42 minutes in. We're good.
I drank better than the people around me.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. Fucking A right I did.
But did you
Ah.
did you ever think of it and look at it or have the sense or anything like that that it was problematic, or did it never cross your mind?
I mean, yeah, I knew. I knew. Of course. But again, delusional. I in my mind said I drank better than others. Yes.
that's
Yes.
that's fucking it's just it's awesome. I didn't
Yeah,
expect
of
that. I
course
just really
I
didn't.
knew it was a problem and I knew it was wrong and I knew blah 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 blah. Yeah, but I twisted it in my fucking head to say, no, I'm better. I drink more. I drink more often. I drink, yeah, I'm far better than everyone else.
So that kind of answers the second question, because I said, at any
Mm-hmm.
point before you got sober did you start to connect the dots that
Mm.
all the problems you were having were because of drinking?
Well, no, no, of course not. Fucking all the problems I were having were everyone else's fault.
Okay, I'm drinking better than everyone and
Yep.
okay, I
Yeah.
understand. I get where you're coming from.
Yep. And all my problems are caused by someone else.
Right. And you know what? I don't even. Again, I have no idea. I'd love to be able to give context to where I come up with these questions every once in a while, because I don't know. Seriously don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I and I've said it on here before. The only thing that I ever said to myself was, at some point I knew that I'd have to just kind of, I don't know, calm down,
Uh-huh.
change my evil ways, that sort of
Right.
thing. The
Control my drinking.
and it's oh, I didn't use the word control, because
Well,
that
I
that
know.
was that was thrown in my face. I told the DUI, or my drunk class story.
Right.
Oh, everyone, Bill's gonna try to control his drinking. I'm like, yeah, you fucking whore. Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
Hmm.
fuck you, bitch. Um, but so no, I would never have used that word. But
Hmm.
you know how people, TV shows, movies, people are always like, oh yeah, my 20s I was doing this, and then all
Uh-huh.
my friends started to kind of settle down, and that's kind
Hmm.
of the thought I had, that
Sure.
at some point I'm gonna have to like settle down. I'm out there ripping it up a little bit too much, and that would have, I'm trying to think if I don't know if Dawn and I were still together, probably, so
Hmm.
it wasn't in my my darkest of the last 4 years, because those were fucking really dark.
Hmm.
um But I never looked at the problems I had because of what I pointed at. Like I said,
Right.
it's everyone else's, and that's so I only laugh because
It's
that's
true.
it's fucking
Oh, yeah, of
ridiculous
course.
for me to
Yeah.
even think that it was my fault.
Right. Of course.
I don't have any money. Well, how much did you spend on booze this week? That's irrelevant.
That's got nothing to do with anything.
And again, that question would have never came up because I would have never shared with anyone
Mm-mm.
that I was spending, I mean, again, towards the end, in a
Right.
minimum, the last 6 months. I mean, I could get a 30 pack of whatever type of beer it was, some Miller product. I forget which one of the Miller products it was now, maybe $15, and then get a
Mm-hmm.
bottle of a big bottle of fucking whiskey,
Right.
for another 15, and
Yep.
that was like 4 days worth of booze.
Uh-huh.
So that's do the fucking math. That's $15 a day, which doesn't seem like a lot, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Because you Starbucks people out there, you're probably spending that in a day on your fucking coffee. You
Sure.
know, but I hope you can afford it because I
Uh-huh.
couldn't.
Right.
And at that time I couldn't afford to spend $15 a day on fucking booze, and let alone if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna treat myself to whatever this is or that is.
Mm-hmm.
God only fucking knows, man. But just doing the math, that's a lot of fucking money.
Right.
But no, I never thought about, oh, I can't pay my rent because I'm buying too much booze. It's I just I just need to make more money at work. I've got a shitty
Right.
job and nobody pays me enough.
Yeah, that's
That's
right. Yeah, exactly. Those motherfuckers don't know what I'm worth. It's their fault.
yeah, what I'm worth. Ah. Oh, that's rich.
Isn't it?
Here,
Delusional.
here's me and my worth.
That's right.
But okay, so no, those are a couple of the greatest answers. Fuck no, it's everyone else's fault, and I drank better than everyone.
That's right.
Okay, folks, write that down. That's those are words to fucking live by.
Tattoo
Thank
them on your forehead.
thank you, Mike. Oh, so this is it. So I'm watching. You've heard of the show Yellowstone, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you haven't watched it, but
No.
the one that produces that show, his name is Taylor Sheridan,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't realize this, but I started watching this other show called the Mayor of Kingstown, which is with Jeremy Renner.
Uh-huh.
Um, really fucking good. It
Hmm.
went in 2 seasons or three, something like that. But that's a Taylor Sheridan show, which I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize, but really fucking good. And then now there's another one on that I'm watching called Lioness.
Uh-huh.
It's like a black ops type of movie, a
Right.
spy type of whatever. That's a Taylor Sheridan one.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, so Nicole Kidman is in the Lioness one.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a complete side note, but it just made me laugh when I thought about it. First of all, she's had some work done over the years. I think she looked better
No.
20, 30 years ago. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she still looks decent. Don't get me wrong, but I thought about what you said about when we were talking about Keith Urban. So I wrote this down. When
Okay.
you're like, because you said talk about promises. One of our guys gets to fuck Nicole Kidman.
Right.
So what I was thinking is, so when we walked into the rooms, could you imagine? They always say that, oh, if we would got what we wanted at the time, we sold
Mm-hmm.
ourselves short. Could you imagine using that as an opening line? Just some new guy comes in, he's fucking shaking and all fucking nervous, and just come up and you tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey, dude, one of our guys fucks Nicole Kidman. Okay, stick around
Stick
till the
around.
till the miracle happens."
That's right. I
Yeah,
may have to. You know what? That's a good way to do it. I think I'm going to use that on Sunday.
It literally crossed my head. I'm like, you know what? Speaking of promises, that might be a great way to start off a meeting with newcomers. Hey, just so you know, and then just start listing off all the other people that are fucking hot
Mm-hmm.
chicks out there, or guys.
Right.
If you're talking to women,
Right.
there's a lot of good-looking dudes out there that are sober and
Mm-hmm.
probably nailing, or women that are nailing sober guys and whatever. So,
Right.
but anyhow, that had nothing to do with anything, but it fucking made me laugh. All right, so this is a recent one. This might be from today. God grant me, there was a reading about humility,
Mm-hmm.
and just a very, very simple question. What does humility mean to you? We may have talked about this before, but if not, it's, I think, a great refresher. So, what does humility mean to you, my friend Mike? Or how do you define humility, or both?
Hmm. God. All right.
I know it's a thinking one. Sorry, I didn't know you were gonna have a cold tonight. So,
Right.
Ooh.
Blah. Humility. Humility is yeah, it's not being full of ego. It's not that fucking that delusional shit, it's everybody else's fault and I'm better than everyone else. Um kind of flip that around. Humility is it's all my fault and I'm just as good and just as bad as everyone else now. Yeah, it's knowing your place, I mean a lot of times, you hear people talk about humiliated as opposed to humility. Very different, I'm not humiliated. I try to be humble. Uh, again, I thought I was fucking better than everyone else when I was in the bottom of a bottle or a
Yeah,
bag.
drinking
Um,
better than everyone.
that's right. Using better than everyone else.
Right.
Um, elegantly wasted. Yeah, no, it's just it's knowing your place and knowing you're not better than or worse than anyone else is the simple answer.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It was the reason I know the reason I wrote this one down is because when I first was thinking about it, I couldn't like put the words together. I know what it's like. You know what it feels like to have
Mm-hmm.
to be humble and have some
Mm-hmm.
humility, um, but yeah, it is. It's just realizing that you're just right there with everyone else, like you
Mm-hmm.
said to begin with, right in the middle of the bed. Where am I at in my program?
Right.
Maybe that's why we couldn't really just jump out and say where we were at. That just occurred to me. Maybe that's a little bit of humility. We just do what we do,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to explain where I'm at in my program unless I really take a look at it myself. I don't know. I don't. I don't even know the good things that I have sometimes. Not that I don't
Mm.
appreciate them and I'm not grateful. I am, but I don't know. I'm comfortable,
Right.
in what I'm doing and who I am and in my own skin and everything else. And
Mm-hmm.
the good things around me, I appreciate and I know I've earned. I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily feel like I don't know, deserve. We've talked about that word so
Right.
many times. I don't feel like I deserve them in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
I've done the work to get the positive results. The byproduct I get,
Right.
are all these good things in my life, and maybe that's humility, realizing that I have all this shit in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do it on my own. I didn't
Right.
acquire these things. I did a lot of work, but it's because of a lot of people, and people taught me that. And
Mm-hmm.
realizing that I need to say thank you, and I need to keep my hand out and help somebody else, and
Right.
I can't be selfish and I can't be self-centered, and I can't feel like I do things better than everyone else, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm a better drinker than everyone else. I'm gonna giggle about that one for a while. That was
That was
classic
good.
Mike. That was classic Mike, um, but it's a tough one to really define.
Yeah, it is. It is, which I think is kind of the point of it.
Right,
you can't really put it into words because it's just sort of a thing, and that is kind of the definition of humility. It's yeah, I can't express it. Yeah, I'm grateful and I'm comfortable and it's all good stuff, but yeah, I don't deserve it, like you said. I certainly don't expect it, but I am grateful that I have it. I think that's kind of humility.
right. Yeah, it's again, it's a tough one, but I mean, we both, like I said, we both know what the fuck it is, but
And we sure as hell know what it isn't.
right.
Yep.
What's kind of funny is that I just crossed off one because surprisingly I had two more things, and these were both from a different book, from A Day at a Time.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote this one down a while ago. What exactly is true humility? What does it mean? So that one we just answered that. So I crossed that one off.
Uh-huh.
But right below it, from A Day at a Time, it says, we sometimes hear humility defined as the state of being teachable.
Ah, yeah,
That's kind of fun, right? That just
that
answered part
is.
of our question.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's again, don't expect it and don't know everything, and right. It goes back to we're not the best.
Right. Right. I think it's funny that that was a few, I don't know when that, again, it was, I don't know, 4 or 5 things up on my list of things I have typed out, but it's just kind of funny that I had 3 things on here about humility. Huh, must be a trend in my head, right? Or the
Hmm.
readings, obviously.
Right.
But there's another one in that kind of in the same realm. It says, this was from A Day at a Time. Pride deviously keeps me from a thorough from thoroughly and oh, I'm sorry. Let me. God, you can tell I do these with voice text. Let me try to read this first, then figure out what I'm supposed to do. So I was talking about the 10 step. Pride can
Hmm.
deviously keep me from thoroughly continuing to work through a proper 10 step.
Mm.
You agree with that?
Oh,
Pride
sure. Right.
deviously. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Pride. Absolutely. Again, the best. Right. I'm not going to do it. Hey, I'm all right. Hey, everything's fucking great. Right. 10 step. Yeah.
Right.
Doing an inventory, whatever, or 4th step. Again, it's going to keep you from doing it properly. If you have too much pride, you can't, if you can't identify the problem, how the hell are you going to fix it?
Right.
And if you're too proud, you sure as hell can't identify the problems you have. Again, back to, it's everybody else's fault and I'm the best at what I do.
Right. Yeah. And it is. It's well, and I've talked about my job plenty of times. Can we do a little side note on it? This kind of goes along with this made me think of it. So I think this is kind of
Hmm.
on. I don't want to really. Well, I guess I'm going to sort of bitch about work, but I'm gonna explain why and kind of help. It kind of ties into this, which made me think of it. So, um, I've mentioned before that I look at my job as kind of as I look at this whole sobriety thing, that if I continue to do the work, the good things come, right?
Right.
And and if I'm not slacking off, I'm doing the next right thing and all sort of things. And I've done that all the way through. Now, granted, I do remain teachable, and I don't mind, my manager saying, be more assertive or do this or say these words and say those words, and I get all that. And I take all of his suggestions, and it's been a slow couple of months, and we just had our weekly meeting, and the main person that kind of she's a VP of something. I still I to life for life may don't know her title, but she's really cool. But she's
Uh-huh.
the one that hands out the all the new business and stuff like that. And she's like, just so everyone knows, we're starting to get an influx. I know we had a lull in new business, and I knew that because I saw the way my route used to be and what it was now. And
Hmm.
I was getting dumped on with all, like I said, these second placements and things like that, and I mean flooded with them.
Right.
um, Lower collectability, all these different things. Those are fucking facts. That's not excuses or anything like that. It just
Hmm.
is.
Yeah.
And literally, I would get like 15 new accounts, and 10 of them would be these lower end. So 3/4 of my business, on a particular day or a couple of days, blah blah blah. And this month, I mean, I'm struggling to get to the point where I was last month. I've got a few days left, but I hopefully would hit that. But I'm down. And I start to look at this shit, and I'm like, I'm trying to, I don't want to blame. I don't want to just say it's the new business. It's this type of
Hmm.
business, but all these different things. What I've been trying to do is say, okay, I've got to make sure that I'm doing all these things, and I
Right.
am. And the only thing that's changed though is that business, So I don't know. I mean, I haven't been confronted by it to bring it up, and I'm almost, I don't want to say hesitant to bring it up, because I think that as a company, they probably look at that as like, "Well, we making excuses," type of thing, which I'm not that
Hmm.
guy.
Right.
So I'm just kind of doing what I do. The only thing though, and this is the part that I thought was kind of odd, and I noticed this over the last month or so, and I didn't bring it up until now because it started to hit me again. Because I had a couple of really good, like this past week, I had a really good week. Not this physical week, but the last 7 to 9 days or something like that.
Hmm.
As I've been doing I'll just say poorly or worse than what I was doing when I first came in. I'm coming out of the gate. I was like, the golden child type of thing. Me and this
Mm-hmm.
other guy started with, we were doing really well and blah, blah, blah. And I kept that up for a while. And then these things just, again, circumstances. And what's funny is that I started to notice it from my manager. He less conversation, doesn't congratulate on things, doesn't make any comments anymore. Like simple things. You send something, he's got to make a note on something. You get an account and you get a payment, and he used to say, "Oh, I'm done doing that. Hey, nice job." So he would say he's done doing it, but then not even say nice job anymore on stuff. Little
Mm-hmm.
things. And I'm starting to like, am I just like reading into this stuff? But then it's like that all the time. But then I start to get big payments. And he's like, "Oh, you're doing great. Nice job." This and I'm like, "Okay, I get it."
Uh-huh.
It's this. It's so fun. I've been around. I started thinking about this. I've been around this business, and I hate to say this, with the exception of a handful of years, for like 35 years.
Right.
I was in my early 20s when I started in the collection business,
Mm-hmm.
and I know better. That's what this business is all about. So as a trainer and as a manager and a supervisor, I never did that. The people that were struggling, I tried to do the opposite.
Right.
I really would. I'd look at, because it's usually, if there was three categories: are you there all the time? Are you making the right phone call, or enough phone calls? And is your conversation right? If those three things, and that's my manager is doing that,
Mm-hmm.
but he's focusing too much on, oh, you're not doing all the right words, but we keep doing all this stuff and nothing's changing. So
Mm-hmm.
then what else? Then we look at the business. We always knew when new business was down. I did, as a manager,
Right. Sure.
and people just suffer from it. There's only so much you can do with a lower amount of business.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, it's just very high schoolish, and it just, I started looking. I'm like, I thought, I don't know. You kind of think, and you go into things. It's a fucking law firm, and it's this and that, but it's not. It's no fucking different.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that we're all just cogs in this machinery. And I
Right.
don't mind. But I would, if you can be that way. I don't need to be. I don't need to have my balls played with or coddled or stroked or anything like that. I don't need any of that shit. But just to begin with, then just leave me the fuck alone. You
Right.
know, don't do anything. Don't. It's like all of a sudden you're doing good. You're like, oh, come here. Oh, you're good. But then when you're not doing, then you don't talk to
Mm-hmm.
people. It is. It's
Right.
like a fucking high school thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things that I. Who knows? Maybe things will change. If not,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not out there saving the fucking world with this. It's a fucking job. It's done
Mm-hmm.
what I need it to do, and if it continues to do that, I can just slide under the radar. There's nothing magical about it. It's just it's like punching a god. It is. It's punching a clock every day, and
Yep.
just doing the thing. But I don't know. It just, like I said, I don't complain about shit like that too much, and I don't need to be coddled. I don't need to be congratulated. I don't need any of that. But
Uh-huh.
you know, you can tell when people are different. It's like, he's got his favorites. And the other thing that I know for a fact is that, because I started to look at, because he was making comments like a month ago. He's like, "You've got one of the largest inventories in the office, and blah blah blah, and this person's doing that." And I'm like, I did the math. I've got like $1
Mm-hmm.
million in inventory, which is not bad for the type of business we're working. It's not extravagant, but I get 300 plus accounts. Do the math. It's an average balance of like $3,000,
Mm-hmm.
which at the level two that I'm at, that average balance should be more like 4 to 5. Maybe
Right.
5 to 6. Because our top range is like, I don't know, 8 to 9,000. We might see a $9,000 or $9,000 accounts every once in a while. We shouldn't see anything lower than two, ever. And
Mm-hmm.
my average balance is at 3. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and they hand out the business, so it's like, okay, the people over here are doing a little bit better, so we'll give these. Then I'm like, fuck. So I know the game is my point.
Sure. Right.
But you know, I don't know. It is what it is. I just don't. I don't like people who are fake or whatever. That's
Right.
kind of what it is.
Yeah, right. It is. Yeah, and that's that whole trying to control other people, man, people, places, and things. It's
Right.
they're gonna do what they do. Fine, do what you do, and I don't let it affect me one way or another. Try not to, anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Put
And
my
like,
head down, do my job, do what I have to do in my life, and I don't care what you do over there. Right,
right.
like you said, man. I don't need my balls stroked. Just fucking do what you. Yeah, leave me the fuck alone. Let me do what I got to do, and yeah, either way, if I'm doing well, leave me alone. If I'm doing shitty, leave me alone. Yep.
Yeah, that's the only thing that, like I said, I gotta, and I'm hoping the things pick up because, again, this past month and these last 2 months have been, inconsiderably, about 25% lower than where I was, and I
Mm-hmm.
start again. I'm not going to go broke or anything like that, but I need to get back to the income where I was at a couple of months ago, and that's where I want to be and need to be.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I care about. All this other stuff, I ignore all of his little emails, his little fucking poking emails at everyone like, oh, we got to increase this, we got to increase this, this can't happen, blah blah blah. I'm just like, fuck me, I'm going to do my work.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's my money. My money's the only thing I'm concerned about.
Uh-huh.
So,
Pay me my money.
pay me my money, bitch. All right. So, speaking of things being coddled, let's talk about our bottoms. Hello.
Hey.
No, seriously, what I wrote down because we've talked about the people bottoming out, rock bottom, and blah blah blah, and this and that. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I just thought it might be something to kind of touch on again. Going into, I don't know whether it's going into the holidays or whatever it is, and I don't know, I start thinking about these things, but our stories versus other people's experiences, a low bottom versus a high bottom type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in a general sense, based on what and what you feel, um, does it does it even matter? I mean, if your story is far different than mine, but we ended
Right.
up at the same place. We've known
Mm-hmm.
people who have been better or worse.
Sure.
So, what does a rock bottom or where somebody bottoms out, does it matter at all?
I mean, the best line, and this is not mine.
Right,
Your bottom is when you stop drink or stop digging.
right,
That's your bottom, right? When you stop fucking digging the hole. Um, it doesn't matter, right? You get to a point where you don't want to, you've gotten as low as you want to be, or, don't want to be, or whatever. Yeah, your bottom is when you stop digging. And then you start climbing back out. Doesn't matter where it is, yeah. It doesn't fucking matter. It's when you
right.
stop and you turn around and you start going in a different direction. And it doesn't matter what that point is. It's what matters is you turning around and going in a different direction. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, or I mean, the way that the people get in there. I mean, we know plenty of people that arrived at the Keating Center, from jail. We know
Oh
people
yeah.
that walked in on their own because they
Mm-hmm.
literally had enough. They had that actual moment of clarity and said, "I'm
Right.
done," and they walked into the Keating Center or walked into just sobriety in general.
Mm-hmm.
Then other people had to fall on their face a couple of times,
Yeah.
literally.
Hi.
Other other people had to be taken to the Keating
Mm-hmm.
Center. Hello,
Mm-hmm.
dropped off at
Right.
the front door by their mommy and their sister. Um,
Yep.
but whatever got us there. But it just did. I listened to. I've been trying to because I haven't, I've been driving as much as I
Mm-hmm.
have, but I still been trying to, listen to different podcasts and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that because I enjoy sober podcasts, but there's so many different stories and so many different levels, and some people are just, you know, not daily drinkers and that sort of thing. And one of the things that I know I've heard on podcasts, and I'm sure I've seen posted on Instagram, is basically when for anyone out there, if you somehow have stumbled onto to this lovely podcast, hello,
Hi.
and even if you're new or you're not sure why the fuck you're here, let alone listening to our podcast,
Mm-hmm.
um, sometimes it's just that if you are uncomfortable, if you have the sense to realize that you are either uncomfortable or unhappy with the way that either you act or feel or your
Mm-hmm.
life circumstances because of alcohol, you don't need anything else. That's
Yeah.
that's a good enough that's a good enough reason. You don't have to be arrested. You don't have to have a
Mm.
DUI. You don't have
No.
to be falling on your face a couple of times. You don't have to be taken to the Keating Center by your mommy and your sister.
Right.
It doesn't have to happen. And the one thing that I think is really cool about this, again, all these fucking people on the social media is a fucking pain in the ass half the time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 3/4 of the time it is. But there's a lot of people out there that are setting really good examples.
Right.
Of just people that are like, you know what, I don't know, I just didn't. Alcohol wasn't doing it for me anymore,
Yeah.
so I just quit, and now I'm living. Whether I'm living alcohol free, I'm living whatever way I want to live. I
Mm-hmm.
alcohol is no longer a part of my life,
Right.
and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had that sense. I never
Mm-mm.
chose to get into this thing. I chose to stay.
Yeah.
Um, but to begin with, I sure as fuck didn't choose to be here.
Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah, and again, I knew I wanted to stop digging. It wasn't even about the booze anymore. It was again, I've talked about it plenty of times. I the Jim Benning, man. I just didn't want to fucking hurt anybody anymore,
Right.
and that's really it. And clearly the alcohol had to stop, and the drugs had to stop because I wasn't gonna stop hurting people if I continued to do that. But that wasn't even the fucking case anymore. I mean, I wasn't getting high, I wasn't getting drunk, I was just fucking staying well, quote unquote. There's my air quotes for the episode. Yeah, just not being sick,
Right.
and right. But it was, I didn't want to fucking keep hurting people the way I was hurting people, and yeah, clearly the booze and the dope had to go, but a lot of fucking other things had to change too. Again, turn around and go in a different direction. Stop digging.
Yeah, and that is I I know you brought it up, and I know you said it about the digging thing. And whenever we heard that, that was one of the biggest, easiest, and most simplistic ways to put it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love that. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your
What are
bottom.
yeah? What are you done? What are you
Right.
done digging a fucking hole for yourself?
Yep.
I still got a couple more feet to go. I think
Yeah.
I'll hand me
You
a
know.
bigger shovel.
Because I'm a really good digger.
Right. I dig better than anyone out there, and it's everyone else's problem that I had to keep digging this hole, you motherfuckers.
I know. Stop handing me a shovel.
All right. So let's get a little bit more lighthearted here. You want a couple of news stories, Mike?
Sure.
It's come to that time in Sober Not Mature for today's news.
Did it.
And again, I promised that it has nothing to do with politics, and it does not.
Good.
Okay, so this first one, this is the alcohol related one. Okay.
Hey.
And just to make it more fun, I'm going to read this as if it were you. Okay. All right. So, can I use your full name? Because you use it openly anyhow. Can I
Yeah.
can I say your full name? I thought so.
Sure.
Okay, because especially when they're talking about serial killers or within news stories, you gotta you gotta use the full name anyhow.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so J. Michael Harris, popular podcast co-host of the popular Sober Not Mature podcast, award-winning
That's right.
podcast, was arrested. Hang on 1 second here. Okay, yeah, was arrested after the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight last Friday night.
Uh-huh.
After the fight on Saturday morning, J. Michael was booked at the Arlington City Jail on one count of assault on a peace officer, one count of public intoxication, one count of evading, and one count of resisting arrest.
Sounds about right.
I know. When I read this, I'm like, I'm putting Mike's fucking name in this one. Mr. Harris allegedly got into a fight at the bar of the Live exclamation point must be something by the Lowe's Hotel, roughly half a mile from AT&T Stadium. Per the report, police said that an Arlington police officer arrived at the hotel, told about the fight, blah blah blah. Officers are allegedly continued approaching and yelling at others involved. So this was obviously you.
Mm-hmm.
Officer intervened, explaining that if the individual continued to fight, he'd be arrested.
Mm,
Another altercation started not long after that.
of course. I wasn't done.
J. Michael hit the officer on her arm
Oh,
as she attempted to place him in handcuffs.
that's her fault.
He got free and started. Listen to this. He got free and started walking away.
Mm.
Harris also, or damn, let me hang on 1 second here. Hang on.
What else did I do?
I think he
I
had.
don't remember.
I think that was it. God, I thought it was a longer story. So this was actually there was an ex cowboy, Pac-Man Jones. Have you heard that?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's who it was. And
Oh.
I heard about it. It was him that did it. So it was a football player that did it.
Uh-huh.
But I'm reading all this stuff. I'm like, fuck, man, this sounds like one of us, man. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, God, would anything of these, and let me read what this says. God, where did that list of things? Oh yeah. So just here's his laundry list. One count of assault on a peace officer, one count of public intoxication, one count of evading, and one count of resisting arrest.
Just one
I
count
mean,
each. Jesus,
I
man, he
know
wasn't trying hard enough.
he apparently wasn't, but I'm like, I don't need all that. It's bad. Well, I suppose when I got my DUI, it was DUI. I hit a post. I had an open intoxicant. Yeah, I guess I did. I had license plates on that, were registered to a different car. So, yeah, I guess I had a few things in there also, but I didn't beat anyone up that night or try to. So,
Right.
but yeah, again, I don't know what this dude's been up to. I don't even know how long he's been out of the league. But I just thought it'd be when I heard the story, I'm like, I got to read about this motherfucker, see what he was up to, and I just thought it'd be fun. So yeah, kids, if you're gonna drink, just drink. Don't go out and don't go
Try
out
to
and get
beat up a
yourself.
cop, a female
Yeah,
cop.
yeah, exactly. That's probably that is not good choices. Okay, so this next article. Which city, this is the holiday one, okay, speaking of Thanksgiving coming
All
up,
right.
which city is the most clogged up after Thanksgiving? Okay. So when the article, again, I had to write it down, heard
Right,
this
right.
morning.
Yeah. It's a standard one, right? Plumbers, they say, yeah, the day after Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving Day is like, fucking golden for plumbers.
Yeah. So it says when it starts off, when it comes to eating large quantities of food, what was once a pure or feeling of pure elation can have dire consequences mere hours later. Comes the aftermath of Thanksgiving dinner, blah, blah, blah. It says while Black Friday is mostly known for holiday sales, deals, and mass commerce, it's also known as a busy business day for plumbing contractors. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
Mike, for bringing that up. Dubbed as Brown Friday.
Friday. Yep.
I had this article, and they read it this morning on the radio show that I listened to,
Right.
but I don't know that I ever heard this before. But yeah, I mean, they're talking about obviously leaky faucets, clogged toilets, blah blah blah. So basically, what they came down to is there's a list of the oh, I didn't come up to this, the top 10 cities that are
Mm-hmm.
most clogged up after Thanksgiving. Okay, and they brought it up because Milwaukee made the list, and it's a
Sure.
Milwaukee morning show. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
set that spoiler alert out. Milwaukee was number 9. Okay,
Ah,
so let's go with number 10 was Phoenix.
okay.
Number 9 is Milwaukee. Where are you from in California?
I mean, went to high school in Sacramento.
Okay, number 6.
Ah, the excremento,
Uh,
I like to call it.
yeah, well, that kind of lines up. Where do Jody and James live?
Boston.
That's number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. South of Kathy, Kylie lives north of this city.
What? I don't know where.
Big city in Indiana.
Oh, yeah, Indianapolis.
Number 4.
Ah,
Okay, so top 3: Raleigh, North Carolina.
hmm,
Number 3, Virginia Beach, Virginia.
hmm.
It's not just for lovers anymore.
It's for shitters too.
And I don't know. I just take a wild fucking guess who the number one of the most clogged up city is. And this again, this is from last year, I think, from
Right.
2023, but it doesn't even fucking matter. But the number one city in the country.
I don't know.
There'd be no way for you to guess, but just pick one. It's
I
in it's I'll give you somewhere in the northwest.
Northwest Seattle.
Close, Portland.
Ah,
Yeah. So
okay.
I don't so you've actually heard of this before, the
Oh
It's a
yeah,
Big Day?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just I've never I don't think I've ever heard of it. If I have, it just somehow I don't know, went over my head. Eh,
Right.
But it cracked me up. I heard it was funny because I heard the end of it. I think what I was doing, I think I made my lunch and then walked out of the room and came back in and heard the tail end of the story. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I got to hear what the fuck they're talking about because they're making me laugh. And then they finally said it at the end. They're like, okay, and the number one most clogged up city. And then I looked up the article. So
Mm-hmm.
when's the last when's the last time that you plugged up a toilet, Mike?
um, it's been a while. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've had to use a plunger. Um, yeah, I seriously, it's been years.
Yeah, and for myself,
Mm-hmm.
it's been I can't even remember now. The place I worked in Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
thankfully we had a plunger in there because you go in there every once in a while. There weren't that many people that worked there. You just go in and you could, you're like, motherfucker, man. So one
Uh-huh.
of the fucking idiots, obviously plugged it up. So I'm
Right.
in there fucking plunging out a goddamn toilet. Um, the last one, do you remember? I think it was a Thanksgiving a couple years ago. Everyone was there. I'm sure it was Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
I went in to, again, take my contacts out, get ready for bed, blah, blah, blah. And I went to the bathroom and, flushed the toilet. There was nothing in the toilet. Okay.
Right.
But I flushed it and it just went up and then just fucking overflowed.
Ugh.
And I'm like, oh my God. And so I went because there's no plunger up there, or at least there wasn't at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there is now, but so I'm knocking at Kathy's door. I'm like, you got a fucking plunger? She's like, what happened? And I'm like, the fucking toilet overflowed. She's like, you overflowed the toilet? I said, I fucking peed. That's all
Right.
I did. And as it turned out, my son was there. So Derek, if you're
Ah.
listening, I know you'll remember this. Yeah, he fucking but he didn't know it. I mean, it's
Right.
he went to the bathroom and flushed for him, but yeah, it plugged up her toilet,
Mm.
and yeah, so I mean, we're sitting there fucking towels, and it thankfully wasn't like a
Right.
shitty mess in there, but yeah, plunged the fucking thing out and this and that. On the way down here, I stopped at a gas station. Went to go in the stall, like yeah, probably go in there and take care of a little business,
Mm-hmm.
and I walk in and I look and it's just the toilet's fucking full, and I'm
Yeah.
like, ugh,
Uh-huh.
just fucking ugh. There's almost nothing worse than trying to walk in there. Thankfully, it wasn't some sort of goddamn emergency. So I'm like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can wait.
Right.
I'm okay.
I can
I'm
and I will.
yeah. I'm not sitting down on that fucking mess. But
Right.
um, no, seriously, I've never heard of. I don't know that I've ever heard of Brown Friday before.
Uh-huh.
I don't
I
know.
have. Yes. Yep. Yep. Plumbers love the day after Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Which again, I understand that it's the thing. Plumbers make a ton of fucking money. I mean,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with any of the trades. I mean, these people they
Yeah.
earn every goddamn penny of it. I couldn't even
Mm-hmm.
imagine. All right, so let's get away from that shitty topic for a minute. Haha.
Please.
Just one more quick one. Seeing as it is kind of the giving back time of year.
Mm-hmm.
This was from the 24-hour book, and I've gotten some nice little, I'll say, gems out of the 24-hour book lately, and
Yep.
which is fucking weird. Maybe I've just been paying more attention, or maybe I've grown, huh? I don't know.
Ah.
I hope so. But it says, I hope that my day may be brightened by performing some little act of charity.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you consider to be an act of charity?
Helping someone else, you
Okay.
know? Yeah. Whatever it is. I mean, yes, you can, donate money to a cause and have someone else do something good, or, or you could, yeah, just do a little something yourself, looking out for your neighbor, doing a little, holding the door for somebody, smiling, all the little stuff like
Right.
that. I mean, we talk about me doing my radio gig every year. I mean, that's a form of charity. I get to benefit from it because I get to go down there and have fun. But right, just being part of making again a little corner of the world a better place, man. Yeah, that's charity. Small things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I mean, if I think that basically what we try to what we talk about all the time and what I think that we don't try to do it. We hopefully
Mm,
just
just
these
do
things
it.
happen, but
Right.
yeah, just going around and in our daily life, if the whatever it is,
Yeah.
the opportunity presents itself for us to do something that might even a little bit make
Mm-hmm.
somebody's life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Oh, I was in There's a Meijer down here. When I
Mm-hmm.
stopped at all my shopping before I came up in Manitowoc, and I love Meijer's. There's one by Kathy's, and I get used to the store, and they get decent pricing. So I was happy that they had one in there. So I don't remember what aisle I was in or what I was looking for, but I was stopped for a minute looking at something, and
Mm-hmm.
out of like the corner of my eye, I see this lady kind of behind me and like on the other side of the aisle, a little bit to my right, and it looked like she was about ready to climb to get
Mm.
something. And then I said, I kind of turned back and I said, "Do you need help with that?" And she's like, "Would you mind?" And I said,
Mm-hmm.
"What?" I said, "What do you need?" It was Kleenex that she was
Mm-hmm.
getting. She wanted a particular. She's like, "This is
Sure.
gonna sound so stupid, but I've got one, but I want the other one that matches, and it's way in the
Right.
back up there."
Right.
And I did. I had to get on my tiptoes a little bit, but I got it. But I got it for her. She's like, "Thank you so much." And I said, "It's ungodly the amount of times I'm asked, but I said I don't mind doing it. I'm like, it's the beauty of being tall."
Right.
But I said I could have done one of two things. I could have sat back and actually watch you do it, and then watched you fall.
Right.
And she laughed, and she's like, and she was probably our age or a little bit younger. She wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
really old or anything like that.
Right.
But she's like, yeah. She goes, the older I get, the more clumsy I get. I said, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I honestly said that I could have just sat back and watched you fall. And she laughed. She's like, yeah,
Yep.
okay, yeah. But I don't know, just it. One of those things that again, the 24-hour book. Maybe it's just that I get so once again, we've been like you said, we've been reading that for 5,000 how many days? 300 and some days that we've been reading
Right.
that book. Maybe I think that I don't know why, but for things I'm posting things on it, like on Instagram from the 24-hour book, and if they're actually like bits and pieces or that I put on here, they're jumping out at me for some reason. And I mean, I don't know why it's
Mm-hmm.
different now than it was 2 years ago, even when we were doing this. And
Mm-hmm.
again, whatever the thing is, my head is really focused on what's coming out of that book, and I think it's weird in a very cool way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Right. Again, looking for the gems, man. I'm still doing that with all the books,
Right.
It's just part of it, I mean, like you said, we've read these things how many times and so what? Continue to look for something that's going to make our lives better and make the lives of the people around us better.
Right. Yeah. I from what I've heard, I think that's what this whole thing is all about, right?
That's how I understand it. Doesn't
All
mean
right,
it's
man.
right, but that's how I understand it.
You know what? You do it better than anyone else, so I'm going to go by what you say.
Right. I'm the best.
Right. And on and
Bleh.
on and on that note, what do you say, Mike? Should we get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
I know. You've been a trooper, so yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. I want to thank our guest Bill and his book. What is it again, Bill?
Uh, it is Modern Day Hobo, a guide to living the Airbnb life, and you can get it by visiting our website, SoberNotMature.com. Go to our sponsor page. You'll see it right there. You can click through the Amazon. But while you're on SoberNotMature.com, take a look around.
Hey. Right.
Right.
As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other. Go out there and get some tissue for some lady. And now it's time from the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul, from the beginning of time till the ends of the earth, always and eternally. Fuck you. Now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
I was kind of kicking back and I'm like reaching for my mouse trying to unmute myself.
Yeah.
All right, join us next week for our gratitude episode where hopefully
Yeah.
you'll be grateful that you're feeling better, right?
Right. And my toilet won't be clogged up.
Exactly. And don't go out and fight any or try to beat up any female police officers this week. So
Oh, man.
check that off the to-do list. God damn it. Fucking can't have any fun anymore.
I
God damn it.
know. All right.
All right, man. I love you, brother.
I love you too.
We'll talk soon.
We shall.
Bye.
Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.